Welcome, Kyle. You're the first one to join tonight. So welcome others as they join. This is Talking Hobies, our episode on sailing gear and sailing apparel. So somewhere on your screen, you'll see a button for Q&A and a button for chat. And that's how you can interact with us on this end. And we encourage you to submit your questions and participate as we go through. So okay, so tonight's episode is a little bit different. We're going to talk a lot about sailing apparel for different weather conditions and sailing gear, really specifically for Hobies. And this one is really a collection of videos we shot, and we'll show some video and we'll stop along the way and answer questions as we go. So let's start that up. Go back up to the beginning. Okay. All right. So here we go.
Your right gloves.
Start at the beginning.
So
Here we go.
sometimes we get questions about sailing gear, and people ask me for recommendations about different harnesses or life jackets. So I thought I would do a little video today and share with you some options of things I've found over the years that work well for sailing hobby category. Okay, so we live in a part of the world where we are blessed or cursed, depending on your opinion, on having a full range of temperatures from, oh my God, it's too hot, to quite cold. And actually sail all year round, so I have a pretty wide range of apparel to choose from. So starting out in kind of warm weather sailing environment, really all you need to sail in a small boat like a Hobie Cat is shorts and a t-shirt. Although over the years, many people, including myself, have gotten more conscious about sun exposure. So what I will often wear now, even in warm weather, is a long sleeve, light colored shirt that's made of a synthetic material, or sometimes a very loose fitting rash guard with a neck buff, and of course, Hobie Cat hat. Your favorite Hobie Cat hat is a required item, so we're on the boat. All right, so let's start out with something simple, hands and feet. So hands and feet. So a lot of people sail barefoot, and if that's your cup of tea, that's absolutely fine. I know people that have strong preferences on this both ways. I'm in the camp of wear something on your feet. You decide what works for you if you're sailing. Different options for what to wear on your feet. So the wetsuit boot is kind of a standard generic item, sort of a go-to item, what many people will first get when they're looking for something to wear on their feet. I actually don't wear wetsuit booties very much anymore. This is a 5mm boot, and I find unless it's cold out, it's really too hot for the sailing environment I have here in Maryland. Now, for years, I wore a very thin, sort of slipper type bootie. It has no insulation, but very similar to a wetsuit boot. A very thin sole. I actually don't wear these anymore either. What I've switched to over the last 10 years or so is a shoe, a sailing shoe. Find a nice lightweight sailing shoe, gives me good grip on the trapeze, gives my foot nice protection, and that's currently what I wear for the majority of my sailing. All right, gloves. So lots of folks, again, wear no glove at all. Again, your choice to wear a glove or not to wear a glove. There's a lot of gloves on the market that you can find at your local retailer for sailing apparel and sailing gear. This is kind of a standard sailing glove made by Ron Stan. There's probably, I don't know, 10 or 20 different types of gloves, very similar to this on the market. You can pick and choose if you like. They kind of run in different price points, usually around $30 to $40. You kind of rinse them off. You get a good year or so out of a glove like this if you're using it often. I wore these for many years, but don't use these anymore. What I've worn now exclusively are essentially gardening gloves. Buy these at the hardware store. They are sort of a knit back with a rubbery material on the front. When it's kind of sticky, has a nice grip on the reed sheet, and I like these a lot. And this is what I wear for the majority of my sailing, unless it's really cold weather. The other nice benefit of these, when you come home from the weekend, you take them off, you throw them in the washing machine, they come out and not all stinky anymore.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about pants next. So again, if shorts are your thing and the weather's permitting, absolutely, no reason not to wear shorts. If you like to have some sun protection, some shade protection, or if you need something to keep warm, then you start thinking about pants. So this piece here I'm going to hold up here, this is essentially just Lycra with some Cordura padding on the knees and on the backside, and it's sort of basically for sun protection and a little bit of padding. I find this one to be kind of a real go-to piece when it's really warm out, but it's breezy. I'm going to be trapezing and I want a little bit of padding and protection on my legs. Anyway, next, if it's a little bit cooler but not really cold, move to a wetsuit. Wetsuits come in a variety of thicknesses, and usually the thicker they are, the warmer they are. There's a couple different styles. So I'm going to show you next. It's a Farmer John. This one though is it's just pants, and I find this to be a very versatile piece. This is a 2mm pair of wetsuit pants. It lets me mix and match what I'm going to wear on the top with the pants on the bottom. I'm not locked into a full body wetsuit that's all the same thickness. And it's really practical for kind of moderate conditions. All right, and then in really cold water or in cooler temperatures, particularly with cold water, you need a little bit thicker wetsuit. This is what's called a Farmer John style. It comes up on your chest and goes all the way down to your legs. This is a classic style for sailing and small sailboats. This one is made by Zyke. It's called a Super Warm. It's really made for cold water conditions, cool conditions. Some people even wear them in the winter, although I find it's not quite warm enough for real winter sailing, at least in my personal tastes. But for cold weather, it's definitely a real practical piece. All right, so let's talk sailing tops now. Keep in mind, I like this whole mix and match theme.
Go back. All right, so questions came in here, and we'll take a moment and chat about those. And like I said, I encourage everyone to submit questions as we go, and we'll try and respond to those. So we kind of focused so far on warm weather, and we're going to keep going into cooler weather and different conditions. So one question on the shoes I showed. So they are kind of interesting looking shoes. They're made by Zyke. It's a sailing shoe, actually. Unfortunately, that particular shoe has been discontinued. I like it a lot, and I would love to buy another pair, but it's not made anymore. They have a different style. Zyke makes now. You sort of, I look for things that are a little bit lighter weight in a shoe, but actually a sailing shoe, because the tread and the material on the bottom is going to give you better grip on a boat surface than just traditional, everyday kind of athletic shoe. So, all right. So a few other people are joining in. That's great. We'll keep going so please go ahead and continue with your questions as they come up. All right. Let me go back to share screen.
Versatility, because I can mix for different items for different conditions. So tops. So this one here is sort of a smock top or splash top, and this is kind of the classic go-to top for most small boat sailors. Really versatile, does a pretty good job at keeping you dry. Has these adjustable, sort of zipper or somehow a little Velcro piece at the top and at the wrists. This one is made by Gill. There's a number of manufacturers making these, and pretty practical piece. This is one my wife wears. I actually don't use this much anymore, top like this. What I switched to is what I have here is a neoprene top. So I find that what I found over the years with the splash top is in moderate conditions is okay. When it really gets wavy, really gets wet, you get a lot of water getting down your neck and up your arms. You kind of get wet on the inside a little bit. And eventually that gets you start getting cool as the day goes on. Typically all these tops, so you wear something underneath. So this one I have a rash shirt underneath with the smock top or splash top. You can wear different types of layers underneath. You can wear a little bit of insulating layer, or you can wear a really thin layer. So your choice, it gives you more versatility for the conditions. Right. Another one I've recently discovered from this one is called Aqua Fleece, and it's from Zyke. But there's several that different companies make these. Brewster does, Gill does. So it's got this laminated sort of vinyl or rubbery coating on the outside. And the inside laminated to that is a layer of fleece. It's got significantly more warmth, keeps you dry. This one has the added benefit of having sort of the dry suit type neck and wrist seals. So you can wear this in really wet conditions and stay dry and have some nice warmth. Okay, trapeze harnesses. So most Hobie sailors, if you're sailing on a boat that's got a trapeze equipped boat, you're going to have a trapeze harness. There's a variety of manufacturers. There's different styles of trapeze harnesses. You can find one that suits you. Two kind of big themes in trapeze harness are the half harness and the full harness. The half harness just kind of comes up to your lower back right here and stops. The full harness has straps that go up over your shoulders like this and provide a little bit more back support versus the half harness. And your choice really depends on what your preferences are and how you trapeze. Do you kind of trapeze more in a sitting up position, or do you like to lay back all the way back and extend further and want these back support? So this is an example of one actually made by manufacturer and sold to Hobie Cat, and it's called a convertible harness. And it tries to kind of be a mix of both the half and the full. So it has these shoulder straps, but they are removable, so you can use the straps or not. So Hobie Cat has, in their parts and accessories catalog, has several harnesses to look at. I know they have half harness, they have this convertible, and they have a full harness. All right, so this harness I have on here is the one I currently use from Magic Marine. There's a number of them on the market. Like I said, there's different styles. There's also one called a nappy style. And the nappy style has a single strap that goes up, between your legs and your crotch. Some people prefer that style, some don't. This is called the crotchless style, and it has independent leg straps for each leg. Again, the easiest way to really try these on, experiment with them, see what you like. You can try some on your friends might have, or you can go to your favorite retailer and you can try them on there. One thing I would really strongly recommend with trapeze harnesses is two things. It's a spreader bar and a releasable hook. So the spreader bar adds a lot of comfort. So the old harnesses just had a little tiny plate with a hook right in the middle here. And you get this sort of hip squeeze that would go on, and by the end of the day, your hips got kind of sore because the straps would be pulling in all day long. But the trapeze hook is something to be considerate of. There have been a number of accidents and a number of tragedies throughout all of sailing over the years related to trapeze harnesses. If this hook gets hooked on something, when your boat is capsizing and you cannot unhook yourself, and that boat goes upside down, it's going to take you with it. You need to be able to get loose. So the manufacturers have addressed this by coming up with ways to release the hook. So on this one right here, there's a Velcro tab. You pull this tab attached to this string. It's going to pull a pin right here, and that hook is just going to pop right off and release me. You want to be mindful of that and have a system where you can get yourself out if you've been trapped. Okay, stop there. Okay, life jackets are personal flotation devices. So pretty much every country in the world has laws and regulations about these and what the certifications are, what you need to have, what you need to wear, and when. In general, you need to have an appropriate size life jacket for every person on board your boat. So a child needs a child-size life jacket, and an adult needs an adult-size life jacket. I'm going to argue you should actually wear it, and I'll come back to that in a minute, but typically the rules are that you have to have one on board the boat for every person. But here in the US, the law on life jackets is they need to be what's called US Coast Guard approved. In Europe, they use a certification called CE. In Australia, they use yet another certification. So you need to know what the appropriate rules are for where you live. All right, there's many styles of life jackets on the market, and you can easily go to your favorite retailer, try some on, find one that you find that you like and is comfortable to wear, and so I would suggest you wear it. So this one, a couple things to look for when you're looking for life jacket. You want to make sure it doesn't extend down so far that it covers your hook. You want the hook and the trapeze to be exposed so you can easily unhook and hook yourself on and off the trapeze wire. I kind of like the tighter fitting life jacket of this one. This is a Zyke US Coast Guard approved life jacket. It kind of fits nice and snug. It doesn't get hung up on things. There's not a lot of extra straps or anything in the way to get caught on anything. Another nice one on the market is made by Stolquist. It's actually sold through Hobie Cat. It's called the Stolquist Edge. And it's got a side zipper very much like the one I have on. Pull over your head and zip your clothes. All right, so why wear your life jacket? So really, one, it's a safety thing. You never know, just practical matter here. One, you never know when you're gonna fall off the boat. You never know when the boat is gonna capsize. Usually these things happen fast. You don't have a lot of warning. There's no time to, oh, we're about to capsize. I should put my life jacket on. You need to have it on before these events happen. The other just practical matter is, there's nowhere to put it. If you leave it laying on the trampoline, it's going to fall off, or it's going to be constantly in the way. And if you go to the effort of tying it down, well, that sort of defeats the whole purpose of having it in the first place, because now you can't get to it when you need it. So the advice is get a life jacket that you like, that fits you well, that's comfortable to wear, and wear it. Okay, so.
All right, so that was up through sort of more moderate conditions, and talked about wetsuits and splash tops and gloves and footwear, as well as life jackets and harnesses. So, I'm a big fan of have things that fit you, that work. Don't buy something that you're not going to like, that you're not going to wear, because then it's ultimately it's a waste of money, and it's not going to work for you. So have something that fits you, that you like, that you tried on and you're going to wear, particularly in the world of life jackets and safety equipment. It's just easier to wear it than it is to try and find a place for it. All right, so we had a question here really about splash tops and wetsuits and what the temperatures are and that you wear these. And it really sort of depends. So some people obviously are a little bit more warm-blooded than others, and some people get colder faster than others. So there's no one-size-fits-all answer for that. I find that, and it also depends how long you're going to go out and how cold the water is. If you're going to go out for an hour or maybe 2 hours, and you're going to come, and it's easy to come back in whenever you want, then, if you get cold or you're too warm or whatever, it's just easier to come in and make a change, take a break, go back out again. If you're really going out for an all-day event or a long-distance sail or something like that, where you don't have the opportunity to change, you need to, you want to kind of plan ahead a little bit. You probably want to pack ahead so that you have, you're a little bit warmer. So it's easy to, as they say, take it off, but it's not easy to put it on if you don't have it with you. So, anyway, wetsuits, the thickness of the wetsuit is typically, defines how warm it's going to be. And a big part of that is how cold the water is where you live. So places like, for example, Northern California, moderate air temperatures, but very cold water. If you're going to sail in that part of the world, you're going to wear a thicker suit than if you're going to live where I live. We have a range of temperatures, and right now it's very warm out, and the water is very warm, so you don't need to wear a whole lot of clothes. But in another couple of weeks, it'll be getting much cooler. So, what I wear the most often are those pants that I showed, that like the 2 millimeter pants. I find those are really, really practical. Anything from, sort of 70 degrees Fahrenheit up to, maybe the low 80s, depending on the air temperature and the water temperature, are really practical. I can mix and match. If I get a little bit warm, I can take the top off. If I get a little bit cool, I can put the top back on. And I really like that mix and match kind of scenario to sort of fine tune for the temperatures. The sailing tops, I mean, there's a bunch of different top options on the market. I have, the splash top is sort of the classic one that you'll see. Is the most common one you'll see in Hobie sailing and in dinghy sailing is the splash top. They're reasonably priced and they do a fair good job of just blocking the spray. Where I think those sort of fall down is when it gets really, really wavy, breaking waves over the boat. In those kind of scenarios, they don't quite keep you dry enough, and you sort of eventually you get, water leaking in, and eventually you get cool. But if that's not the kind of conditions you're sailing in, then that splash top is very practical, and you get a lot of mileage out of it. So. All right, so I'm going to move now. We're going to talk cold weather gear. So this comes from Hobie sailing and a little bit from frostbite sailing, and gets into sort of what I'll call more moderate cold to very cold. All right, so here we go. This one.
Here. So the most practical is the dry suit, which is what I'm wearing here. There are some people that do prefer to wear a very thick 5mm winter wetsuit. These are not your average wetsuits. They're very thick, very high-end wetsuits designed for winter use. Very commonly used with surfers and people are going to be much more in the water. I find the loose-fitting dry suit to be more practical for small boat sailing, like Hobie Cats. It keeps you dry, but it also allows you to adjust what you're wearing underneath of this to sort of, adjust for the outside temperature. So what are you going to wear under a suit like this? So one, you're going to wear some socks, and you should get, if you're going to get a dry suit, you want one that has socks. See that?
Yes.
Okay, so some dry suits don't come with socks, or it's an option. Okay, wet feet is no good when it's that cold. You want to have your feet dry inside the dry suit. And what you're wearing underneath now, you're going to wear something similar to what you would wear for snow skiing. You wear a high performance fabric. I get a lot of mileage with this one. This is the Patagonia R1 pants. It has kind of this thicker grid layer insulation inside, because you want to move any moisture, any sweat you want to move away, goes out to the exterior of the dry suit and sort of breathes out the moisture. What you don't want to get is all wet on the inside. So no cotton, high performance fabrics only. All right, so a couple tricks with these. Now, they require a little bit of maintenance. So you need to take care of them. They require a little more careful storage. One of the worst things you can do to a dry suit, for example, is leave it in the trunk of a car when it's like 100 degrees out. It's like way hotter inside the car trunk. Very bad for the dry suit. So proper storage, take care of it. The seals, they come in different style seals. So this one has a neoprene seal, a little bit easier to take care of, a little more comfortable. Some have a latex seal. The latex seal generally makes a tighter, watertight seal, but requires more maintenance. You have to use some moisturizing lotion to kind of keep the latex in good condition, and you have to be careful you don't break it. Although it can be replaced if you break a latex seal, just like this, so you can replace it. Or you can send them back to the manufacturer. I've had really good success sending suits back to the manufacturer and have them professionally repaired. All right, so inside the dry suit, you get in here, you've got yourself all set, and the trick of this now comes down to, when it's really cold in the winter sailing, is hands and toes, right? Just like skiing. So on your feet, I found a thick pair of little socks to be pretty good start. However, if it's really winter sailing, even though you have the dry sock over top of this, this is not going to be enough. So here's some of the tricks from frostbite that you learn. You start out with a really thin sock first. And then straight from the world skiing, toe warmer. Okay, so this is a chemical toe warmer. You expose this to the air, it generates heat. It has a little sticky pad, you glue it to your sock. Then you put the thicker sock on top. We sell all winter with this, and it works in below freezing temperatures to keep your toes warm. Right. All right, hands. Hands are a trade-off. So the thicker the glove you put on, the less dexterity you have. So it's a bit of a trade-off finding the right glove and adjusting your glove for the conditions of the day. So what I found for winter sailing here in Maryland, this is a gill glove. It's a wetsuit glove. It's fairly thick. I don't know, maybe 4 millimeter. Even though my hands are going to get wet, this glove keeps me warm down to about 40 degrees Fahrenheit and still give me decent dexterity to manage the wind sheet and sail the boat. Right below that, my hands are going to get pretty cold, where I need to move to a thicker glove. So the next level up glove is a glove like this. So this is similar. It's a rubber glove, and on the inside of it, it has insulation. And this has a cuff sealed right to the dry suit. Nothing gets wet. This, you're going to lose dexterity and gain warmth, but this is essentially what the guys wear when they go crab fishing in the winter in Alaska, is a glove like this. Okay, stop. All right, hat. All right, and then there's your head. So important to keep something on your head. That's the next thing to do. So whenever I'm wearing a dry suit, I'm wearing a hat. So I get a lot of mileage with just a typical knit ski hat here. This is one of my favorite go-to hats from with the Hobie logo on it, of course. And even though you sometimes get wet, it still keeps you pretty warm. If it's really cold out, then the other thing I'll add is one of these with neck gaiters. So this combined with the hat and the right gloves, right footwear, you can sail at temperatures below freezing and stay warm.
All right, so that was our video modeling some different sailing apparel and different temperature ranges, and hopefully that was informative. So the the tricks with the winter sailing and the dry suit, I mean, you kind of figure out what to wear under the dry suit to match the temperature range. The other trick to that too, when it's really cold, you actually have to dress not just for the air temperature, but for the water temperature. So sometimes we'll get these days here in Maryland where it's unusually warm, even in the middle of winter, but the water's only 38 degrees. So even though, you would think you could wear something lighter just based on the air temperature, you can't do it safely because if you end up in the water, it can turn into a dangerous situation. So you need to be in that dry suit and you need to have the right clothing on for water that's 38 degrees. So that's a little bit tricky, but it's actually part of fun of the frostbite sailing is to, sort all that out and be able to go out there and have fun doing that in the middle of winter when you otherwise might not be sailing. And the glove thing is a little trade-off too. Like I mentioned in the video, it's finding the right glove for you that you like, that fits you well and keeps you warm in the sort of conditions that you have. I find that those two gloves work for most of my sailing. I mostly in the winter wear that neoprene one. It works most of the time and gives me enough warmth. All right, so other thoughts on sailing gear. See what your friends are wearing, see what other folks in your area where you live are wearing. Talk to people there, try things on, see what fits. And go to your Hobie dealer or your favorite retailer and see what they have and try some things on. a lot of the specific, I don't really endorse any specific brand. It's not sort of my place to do that, but a lot of the stuff I actually purchased through my Hobie dealer, and the specific brands in many cases are based on what he's actually carrying in stock. There's at least a lot of good product out there around the world. And some are more common in different parts of the world. So some of the brands you'll find in Europe are a little bit harder to find here in North America or Australia, or vice versa. So see what's available and see what works for you and what you like. All right. Any questions from our participants? All right. Well, this was a little bit of a shorter episode tonight. We'll be publishing this on YouTube here for folks that weren't able to join in live. They'll be able to watch it on the Hobie Class YouTube channel. So this webinar series is brought to you by the International Hobie Class Association. And we're a group of volunteers that organize Hobie sailing events around the world. If you are a member of the Hobie Class, we sincerely thank you for your membership and participation. If you are not yet a member, we would encourage you to join and become part of the Hobie sailing community worldwide. And it's really due to the support of the sailors we're able to do these things. And you can find information about the class at hobieclass.com. All right, so one more question just came in really about sun protection and hot weather, and that's definitely something I'm mindful of, and many people are mindful of now, is monitoring and controlling your sun protection. So what to wear? I mean, of course, absolutely, sunscreen. A good sunscreen with the right SPF is absolutely required, goes without saying. You have to do it, and you need to, in my case, I usually have to apply it multiple times in a day. So a hat, as you see, I don't have all that much hair these days, so a hat is required equipment for me. Other folks, not so much, but it's certainly a good hat. And I like really a long sleeve shirt. So I find the light color long sleeve shirts in either two styles. One is these sort of high performance fabrics that wick the sweat away to be very comfortable. Sometimes I'll wear a loose fitting rash guard shirt in a light color. And that often mix and match then if I'm not sure if I'm going to be just wearing the shirt, or maybe I'm wearing the shirt for a while and then I'll put a top on top of it later on as it gets a little cooler. It mix and matches pretty well. The neck buff I showed in the video, those came out really through the fishing community and have now become throughout the sailing community as well as a great way to wear something to keep the sun off your neck. The back of my neck, I don't know about you, the back of my neck is a constant problem area for getting too much sun. So those work very nicely to protect your neck. On your legs, so lots of people, particularly women these days, are wearing sort of, I guess what amounts to like a pair of tights on their legs, and different materials. I don't know, Carol, do you have any comments on different materials for that?
For what?
For tights on your legs?
High performance. Yeah,
so again, a high performance fabric, and these really are not there for warmth. They're there for sun protection, and a little bit of padding, but mostly for sun protection, and very common to wear on your legs.
I was just going to say it's easier than sunscreen. Mm-hmm. Actually, less expensive probably over the long haul to just find some leggings and a long sleeve shirt that you really like that protects you. And then you don't have to even think about whether or not you got your sunscreen in all the right places. And then you're left with your face, your neck, your ears. And if the temperatures if the temperature is okay and you can tolerate the leggings and the long sleeve shirt, you don't have to put sunscreen on if you have the right materials and the right colors.
All right, so some comments from Carol off the screen here, but anyway, thanks for that. More thoughts. So, all right, so we'll wrap it up then, and thanks for joining in tonight. And we're working on additional episodes to come out. So one of our next episodes we're planning hopefully soon will be sort of a forum of international Hobie sailors in different parts of the world, and we're going to talk about Hobie sailing around the world. So hopefully you can join in on that coming soon. All right. Thank you so much for joining in tonight.